Oh my God. Oh man, I'm glad I got the dash cam on. I gotta go back and find that. That's amazing. Hi and welcome to History's a Blast. We're at the Wilderness Battlefield near Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's the 160th anniversary this spring of the Grant's Overland Campaign, which led to the final destruction of Lee's Army of Northern Virginia during the American Civil War. And around me is Saunders Field, where the battle really got started in May of 1864. So stick around and we're going to just take a little walk around this old park shelter. The wilderness in 1864 was basically a second growth forest of scrub and small trees, almost impossible to maintain military formations in. And this field was a rare clearing in that dense undergrowth. So it's here that the Confederates coming up from that direction there met the Union forces coming up from here. And there was a bloody fight in this field. The Union forces were forced to retreat. They dug in, and the fighting in here lasted for 2 or 3 days. Beginning of one of the bloodiest, most costly campaigns in the Civil War. And that gun behind me there represents Winslow's battery, which was captured in the field. You can see here that the battery commander ordered the guns to withdraw, but before they could, the Union infantry in front of them gave way and the Confederates overran the guns. Happened often in fighting in close quarters like this. And this park shelter dates from the 1960s, back when they were preparing for the centennial of the Civil War. And it's been fixed up a lot since I was last here in the mid-1990s. Some nice storyboards here. Here's a map that orients us to the Battle of Fredericksburg in 1862, the Battle of the Wilderness 1864, then Spotsylvania Courthouse, and there's the Battle of Chancellorsville, which was in the May of 1863. That's where Jackson lost his arm. Stonewall Jackson, we've met him before in YouTube videos that we've done, and I'll put a link to that. And there's a whole series of really good narrative history videos done by the Battlefield Trust, and I'll put a link to the video on this particular part of the wilderness battle. I can tell you that this map and its frame have been upgraded and repaired since the 90s when I was last here. This was all scratched up. If you wanted to know who was in love in local high schools over the last 15 years, this is where you came to see them carving their initials. Here we have the collision of giants, Lee and Grant. Clash on the Orange Turnpike. Here's the situation of the armies on May the 5th and May the 6th, 1864. That's just about a week and a half before we're here in mid-May of 2024. We're actually on our way down the Virginia Peninsula, and we're passing through on the way. And I wanted to stop here just to give you an idea. The Wilderness Battlefield is on the list of most threatened historical sites. And all that highway noise and all that suburban sprawl we passed through on the way here should give you an idea why. Just through those trees is a massive new development around an artificial lake that threatens to encroach on this historic hallowed ground were it not for the fact that it was part of the National Park Service. There's a nice little parking area here, and I was thinking we were going to have to bring the trailer in and park sideways, but when I looked on the satellite, this little area back here was covered by the trees and I didn't see it, but there's a place where you can park an RV. Isn't that nice? Worked out really well. I wish we had time to walk through the field, Saunders Field here, but combination of time and really seriously, my back is really bothering me today. My legs are numb. I've got a sciatica flare up. Oh dear. This was Gordon's flank attack trail. John B. Gordon came in and attacked the Union forces on the flank. There's an historical marker, a monument in the woods to one of the Union regiments that was shot up. That's where they stood through that, in that field, in that copse tree. And if you look at pictures from the old days, this is about the extent of the field. I mean, it was, the wood lines came right up to it. And beyond Merriweather there, you can see that's more or less the wood line that shows up on the 19th century photographs of the area. Okay, I think we'll move on. Well, we're still on our way south in Virginia, and this is the building where Stonewall Jackson died on May the 10th, 1863. Complications from the amputation of his left arm, from wounds sustained on the end of the first day of the Battle of Chancellorsville earlier that month. It was a great shock to the South. Of course, he's buried in Lexington, Virginia. We visited there last September. I'll put a link to that video. But there's the office building of the Fairfield Plantation where Stonewall Jackson was brought to recuperate. Unfortunately, he contracted pneumonia and passed away. This gives you an idea of the buildings that were there. The surviving building is the farm office. The main house was located behind it, right about where that big tree is back there. And Siri sent us on the Stonewall Jackson ambulance route. So the last several miles we've been following have been the Stonewall Jackson ambulance route. That's a special bonus. This area is staffed when staffing is available by the National Park Service. Right now the building is closed and we won't be able to go in. So we'll just look at the storyboards and we'll move on. Old style glazed and they're blistered up. I'll put this up against the window, see what we can see in there. We can see in the Jackson sick room. There's the fireplace and some chairs. Yeah, it looks like a bedstead off to the side there. Never miss an opportunity to wait for the train. And again, there's a nice overview map of the whole Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park with all of the different battlefields. It's a nice little area, probably very seldom visited. Off the beaten path would not be an overstatement. Okay. Time to move on. See you soon.